Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on the time zone. Now, yesterday, the exercise of voting in a new member of parliament to represent the people of Emurua constituency was dealt with yesterday, and the winner already has the certificate, and soon he will be taking the oath of office to continue serving the good people of Emurua Dikirr. And here we are going to do just a postmortem of that by-election, because we know that we had two front runners, one from UDA, another one from the DCP party. Now, the final tallying center for these results was happening at Emurua Dikirr Technical Training Institute. And immediately after voting, the people started gathering at that center just to make sure that they are following live every event that is taking place there to safeguard the vote of their preferred candidate. Unajua hapa two front runners, David Keter of UDA and then Vincent Kibet, DCP. So what happened? Police officer fired tear gas to disperse a crowd that was actually gathering at that institute that I have mentioned. So this was the situation before the results was announced. Now, I don't understand why the police officers were dispersing people, because these people, seemingly they were peaceful. There is nothing wrong they had done, but they were just there to witness as things goes on, as counting continues. Because even when you check, you would see Honorable David Keter having a light moment with the Honorable Vincent Kibet, yani DCP na UDA. Hao wako tu sawa, wanaongea, hawana shida yoyote. There was no any tense, there was no any threats, but police decided just to disperse the people. Yet these leaders are just in good term, and I think this is what leaders should do. Instead of showing enmity in front of our supporters, it is good just to show unity, that even our supporters should emulate, that we can really unite even when we are competing. Now, the results were tallied, and the winner was announced and handed over the certificate. Now, this is what you should know. Emurua Dikirr constituency has about 44,353 registered voters. That means in constituency changa na ndogo sana, kwa sababu kikatiba na kisheria eneo bunge inafaa kuwe na watu zaidi ya 1,100, lakini hawajafikisha. So that's what you should know. And now, with the 44,000 registered voters, 29,538 people walk out from their house to go and cast their ballot. Kwa usema kwa ufupi tu, yani watu 30,000 walipiga kura, lakini wale watarajia kupiga kura ni watu 44,000. Now, this is what happened. Sorry for that. David Dikirr, the UDA candidate, garnered 18,266 votes. The DCP candidate, Vincent Kibet, garnered 10,760. That is the people, those are the people who are contesting in this by-election. And so it tells you that the difference between number 1 and number 2 is a big range. It is wide. A difference of 8,000 votes. Hiyo gap ni kubwa. Kwa sababu wale walipiga kura ni 29,000, 30,000 people voted. Then the winner got 18,000 na number 2 anapata 10,000. The margin was big. And so the winner was announced and handed over the certificate by the IBC returning officer.
They are celebrating Dollar Line's win. David Dikirr of UDA anasherehekea
Now, I want us to continue with our Punchline discussion to understand really what happened in this postmortem of the by-election, where we knew that in this by-election, the electorate was facing a regime that majority of Kenyans feel that it is a regime that has failed to deliver on their promises. Again, the election just came at a time when we have high cost of living. Nyanya mnanunua shilingi ngapi? Kitunguu iko namna gani? Leo hii wametangaza bei mpya ya mafuta na wameongeza na 16. This is the situation, but still UDA managed to win in the by-election. So, what happened? These are the questions that we are asking on this Punchline, a discussion I would want us to have. But before we go deep into that, I have a quick and humble request. For those who are watching this channel and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to our discussion. Now, number 1, the UDA candidate in this by-election, Vincent Kibet, as you saw in one of the previous videos that we did here, he was a man who did not have enough money for mounting a serious campaign. To an extent, even his supporters could go ahead and use the green carrier bag. Walikuwa na kala kama hii ya green carrier bag wanavaa kwa kichwa because he could not afford to have the branding, UDA branding merchants. He did not have that money to have them. So can we say in one way or another, the party failed to support their candidate fully? Because again, in such by-election, you are using it to sell the party to the people. I can say so. Then the other thing is that DCP party was formed after election. That means they don't receive any support from the register of political parties as it should be, according to the number of elected leaders is concerned. Wanahesabu kuanzia kwa MCA, mbunge, senator, governor, hivyo. Alafu wanawapea percentage yenye kulingana na hivyo. So wale wanapata ni ODM, UDA, Wiper, na hivyo vyama vingine vidogo vidogo yenye ziko. So DCP, they don't get that money. That means if they have to do anything, they have just to go back to their pockets. Na wafanya hivyo. But beside that, Ruto taught us a lesson. And this was before the 2022 general election. He had his differences with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, the immediate former president. What did Ruto do? He used his own resources to build up his following even before forming UDA party. And he would sponsor candidate using his own money. Serious, mounted, properly well-oiled campaign. Na inashinda. So to that extent, I can say Gachagwa failed. Ruto, when he was the deputy president, he used to go to the ground and campaign for a candidate that he feel that he should win. Alikuwa anaenda pale kwa ground anapiga campaign serious in any by election. Na wakawa wanashinda. Mliona Gachagwa akikuja kupiga campaign, a serious campaign? Kabisa hakuonekana vizuri. And you are running against the ruling party candidate. So UDA used money, enough resources to push for their candidate. Ruto knew that if his candidate will be defeated, it will be a thorough beating for him. A thorough political beating. So he would use every means and every power at his disposal to make sure that his candidate is winning. So state power also is something that was also used in all this. But for Gachagwa's side, having looked at this margin was big. At least if it was like mtu ako na kura kama 18 na yule anamfuata ako na kura kama 16. Hai tungesema Gachagwa amepeleka mizizi. But above all, huku ni kwa kina Ruto. This is President William Ruto's stronghold. It is a UDA zone. So even for Gachagwa gaining 10,000 Gachagwa as candidate, it is also a plus for him that you can go to Ruto's side and you have support. So that tells you that DCP is also a party to watch closely. Because if they can go in areas where they know it is their opponent's stronghold and still they leave a footprint, then it is positive. Above all, Ruto has won, as simple as that. His candidate has won, UDA has won. And that is perceptually giving them a green nod.